And a touchdown for the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Hey all, Rick here from Ticats Talk Network on Hamilton Sports Central. We have a preview for Week 14 for Hamilton at Montreal. So we're going to look at 3 keys to victory for Hamilton and Montreal. And then we're going to look at the game notes and as well as each team's depth charts. But first, let's take a look at the keys. So for the Ticats, first one is show and go. It's important to not make too much of any loss, but the Ticats have dropped 3 straight. To see their division lead slip to 2 points, and they had a bad head or a bye ahead of their Labor Day showdown. So they'll hope to that less time to prepare will allow them back to basics mindset. The defense, the Ticats sat 7th in net yards allowed per game with 382.4 coming into this week. The pressure was there against the Argos, but it was about sustaining it versus the Owls. Linebacker Devin Verisek has shown that he can be an impact player in the middle of the field, and Destin Talbert leads the secondary. Answer the bell, Greg. Hamilton run game continues to struggle, ranking 8th in the league in average yards per game after 13 weeks. If Greg Bell can find a way to make Montreal front pay attention to him, it will open up the field even more for quarterback Bo Levi Mitchell to make big plays. And for Montreal, Austin Mack and Tyson Philpott are back. It will be like Christmas morning, receiver edition, for Owls head coach Jason Moss when his offense trots onto the field. Stars Austin Mack and Tyson Philpott return from injuries, which is a needed boost for the offense that is just averaging 14.8 points over the last 4-game losing streak. James Morgan, Davis Alexander appears to be close to a return, but it's James Morgan's pocket for at least another week. With Austin Mack and Philpott joining Snead, Morgan has 3 legit game-changing targets to work with. Now it's about finding chemistry with them. And then veteran secondary stepping up. Taking away Mitchell's options will force the Ticats' run game to generate more offense, executing, which is easier said than done, will come down to defensive backs Marc-Antoine Dequoy, who returns from injury, Kevin Ento and Wesley Sutton's ability to blanket Kenny Lawler and Keandre Smith, in turn forcing Mitchell to look elsewhere. Need to know, Hamilton has won the first matchup this season, 35-17 back in Week 4. It's the final matchup between these two teams, so first place is on the line. Kickoff is scheduled for 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Can be watched on TSN and RDS in Canada and on CFL Plus in US and internationally. So there's that. Let's go over to the game notes. Let's go. Game notes. 50 days ago, Montreal will be playing their first East Division game since July 17, 2025, after a run of 5 in a row versus the West. That is a span of 50 days since a rivalry game. They are 3-1 versus the East and 2-5 versus the West in 2025. Recent meetings. Hamilton has won the first meeting on June 27th, and with a win or a tie, can secure the vital 2025 series over the Alouettes. That victory stopped a 7-game win streak that Montreal had running over the Ticats across 2022 to 2024. It has been the longest win streak by Montreal over Hamilton since 2008, 8 in a row. Smith, career high. DeAndre Smith set a career high of 171 yards receiving on 7 catches in a loss versus Toronto. It was Smith's third game of 100 plus yards and upped his total to 728 on the season. Good for second on the club. His 171 yards is the third highest single game total of the season, trailing his teammate Kenny Lawler 207 and Toronto's Demonte Coxey 187. Last 6 games, 7 different quarterback starters. The Els have had plenty of challenges at quarterback, and 4 different starters have started a game for them at quarterback. Last time they've started 4 or more in a year is 2018, where they had Willie, Matthews, Adams Jr., Manziel, and Pimpleton. Kenny Lawler. The Ticats receiver broke out in a slump versus Toronto, catching all 9 targets for 123 yards and 2 touchdowns. It was his third 100-plus yard game of the season, but his first since July 4th, also against Toronto. He snapped his 4-game touchdown drought with 2 touchdowns in Week 13 after opening up the season with 8 touchdowns and 6. On June 27th, the Ticats dominated this game, leading by as much as 18 points and holding Alouettes to just 226 net yards, 38 rushing. The key in this game was 2 defensive scores by Hamilton, an interception by Devin Versek, and a fumble recovery by Julian Hauser. While Levi Mitchell passed for 247 yards and 2 touchdowns and 9 different receivers. While Levi Mitchell, 250 touchdowns, enters this week after throwing his 250th career touchdown pass. He is just 12th CFL quarterback to accomplish that feat, and recently since Kevin Glenn on October 23rd, 2015. Mitchell's record as a starter is 105, 44 and 2, .701 career percentage, in 151 career starts. Jason Morgan, new quarterback starter. Morgan threw for 409 yards over his last 2 games and was able to avoid any sacks. Tyler Snead, over his last 5 games, has caught 5 passes each time with a total of 32 receptions for 408 yards and 2 touchdowns. Over those 32 catches, 13 have gone for clutch second down conversions, reversing a streak. This game has 2 clubs in a need of turning around losing runs. Montreal has lost 4 in a row after a 5-2 start, while Ticats are 0-3 after following their 6-2 start. Just 14 seconds. Hamilton made a great comeback against Toronto last week with a drive with 48 seconds to play that turned a deficit of 32-27 into a 33-32. With 18 seconds to play. Touchdown drive, 4 plays, 63 yards in 30 seconds. Then Toronto completed a 62-yard pass, leave just 1 second for a game-winning 11-yard field goal walk-off. Block number 5. The block kick by Tyler Chanowski last week was just the 5th this season. There were 14 last year. Special teams cover unit. Montreal special teams ranked number 1 in punt return coverage, and number 4 in kickoff return coverage. Leading the way is the Alouettes, are the league's leading tacklers. Tyrell Richards, 17 special teams tackles, leads the CFL, and Alexandre Gagnon, 16 special teams tackles, second in the CFL. So that is that. So decided in the last 3 minutes, 44%. 8 of the last 18 games, and 4 of them have been decided within 0 to 4 points. Well, Levi Mitchell's 8-6 against Montreal, and James Morgan hasn't played. So with the day, I'm pretty sure I'll have to go over to CFL.ca to find out. Oops. I'm pretty sure with today's game, a 400 game. So he would have to throw 366 yards to get back up to first place. Now with the depth charts, we're gonna look at both. We're gonna start with the away team first. So Brooks is in for kick return and also receiver. So we have Lawler and Brooks, Bordner at left tackle, Revenberg at left guard, Woodmansey and Zont at center, Dobson and Assini at right guard, Barrow at right tackle, Bridges and Turnowski at wide receiver, which is interesting because they've never put Turnowski at that wide receiver. They've always had 3 slot backs on the right side. Second row, you have Smith and O'Leary Orange, Bell and Augustine, Mitchell, Powell, and Dolagallo. Milinovic, Litre returns to the lineup with Robinson. Berglund comes out for Litre. And then you have Tim White as the other slot back. Mark Leggo as the kicker, Gordon White as the long snapper, Nick Constantino as the punter. And on the defense side, you have Julian Hauser with Malik Hall as the boundary defensive end. Defensive tackle, you have Miles Fox. Mario Kendricks comes in for the injured Casey Sales with Ty Anderson as the backup. And on the field side, defensive end, you have Philip Osei with Owen Hubert. Boundary corner is Jamal Peters with Destin Talbert. Ty Fisher with Brian Cole as the backup, and Trevor Hoyt on the weak side linebacker. Middle linebacker, you have Devin Versek with Ryan Baker and Hill. Stubblefield at the Sam linebacker position. Free safety of Cachatonis, Benete, and Horal, with Amos at the halfback on the field side and Jonathan Moxie at the corner. For the Alouettes, you have Rambo and Litre on the boundary receiver, Hollander as the left tackle, Assange as the left guard, Sandin as center, Benatelli and Gibbon as the right guards, McGloster and Shanks as the right tackles, Philpont as the boundary or the field side wide receiver, Mack as the to the left of him, Kazunu and Speaker to the left of Mack, Dallier and Mason as the fullbacks, James Morgan, Cameron Dukes, and Shea Patterson as the quarterbacks, Thesis and Erlington as the running backs, with Sneed to the right of them. Maltos as the kicker, Zima as the punter, Borasella as the long snapper, and Lacher Jr. as the returner. On defense, on the boundary side, you have Burns as the corner on the boundary side, Sutton as the halfback. Then you have Hugh Gox and Lemon as the boundary defensive ends, Dylan Wynn as the defensive tackle, Oakman and Johnson as the field side defensive tackles, and then you have Berglund, Archibald, and Cardinal as the field side defensive ends, Ento as the field DB, Evans as the field halfback. Will linebackers, you have Beverett and Richards. Middle linebacker, you have Sankey, Kant, Arku, and Gagne. Murray as the Sam linebacker. And then you have Dequa, Hamlin, and Hutter as the 3 safeties. We will be doing a live stream on the channel later on today during Super Saturday, as there's going to be three games on the day. You have Hamilton at Montreal, the Banjo Bowl, Saskatchewan at Winnipeg, and then the rematch of Labor Day's Battle of Alberta. You have Calgary in Edmonton, but we will be live streaming the Hamilton Montreal game. Don't forget to check out and come for the live stream. This is Rick from Ticats Talk Network on the Hamilton Sports Central, and have yourself a great rest of your day.